Today, the jury in New York City's most famous trial of the moment, Sean Diddy Combs, viewing real-life footage of the infamous sex parties known as freak-offs, described by the defense as consensual encounters, but by the prosecution as something far more sinister. Combs denies all charges. And just a warning, this story contains accounts, descriptions, and visual content of actual or alleged events that some may find disturbing. Here's Nightline co-anchor Byron Pitts.
Behind these doors, a jury seeing for the first time what the world's been talking about for months. Videos of those notorious so-called freak-offs involving Sean Diddy Combs.
These are the videos that depicted Cassie Ventura with male escorts. And these videos, explicit though they are at the heart of the prosecutor's case to help convince the jury that Cassie Ventura was trafficked for sex.
In a key moment of this trial, wearing headphones, jurors were shown excerpt videos of freak-offs played in the courtroom for the first time today. The videos coming from a laptop belonging to Cassie Ventura.
When it came time to play these video excerpts of freak-offs, jurors put on headphones, so did the lawyers and Sean Combs. The public screens were shut off because the gallery was not allowed to see or hear these explicit videos. But as the excerpts played, we could faintly hear the sound of music and moaning noises.
The jury also shown text messages between Combs and Ventura, in which prosecutors say he texted her, "Want to celebrate Christmas and have a freak-off tonight or Friday?" Further text messages, they said, were summoning escorts to a hotel. Also at the center of today's court proceedings, text messages, emails, and documents shown in court.
The videos came with hotel receipts, credit card statements, travel records that helped give the jury a full picture of how Sean Combs allegedly got her and male escorts to different hotel rooms for the purposes of these sexual encounters.
Sean Combs stands accused of sex trafficking, racketeering, and prostitution, all charges he denies. But as the government wraps up its case over the next couple of days, a major moment in court this morning, Judge Aaron Sabramian dismissing a juror number 6, for lack of candor. The juror originally saying he lived in the Bronx with his fiancée, but he apparently told a court staff member that he had recently moved in with his girlfriend in New Jersey.
The worry about a juror who gives incomplete or not really forthright answers is that they could be what's called a stealth juror. Someone who is answering questions in a way that is untruthful, but to get onto a jury, to be able to give a verdict that they want, either guilty or not guilty. And that's something that no one wants in the jury.
The judge saying the record raised serious concerns as to the juror's candor and whether he shaded answers to get on and stay on the jury. Going on to say, there's nothing the juror could say at this point that would put the genie back in the bottle.
It is far better to remove a juror that has issues as to candor or jurisdictional defects now than if a verdict was rendered. Because if a verdict was rendered, that could be a bigger issue of appeal, that a person gave an incomplete or wrong answer to get on the jury and then rendered either a guilty or not guilty verdict.
The defense raising concerns about the dismissal, noting that he was one of 2 black men on the jury.
The defense lamented that removing juror number 6, a 41-year-old black man, would make the jury less diverse. The judge said that was not a concern with this particular juror. He said he was sympathetic to the defense concerns generally, but he noted the makeup of this jury already includes a number of people of color.
This week marks what's expected to be the final week of testimony in the government's case before Combs' attorneys take over to present his defense. The prosecution making their final push with exhibits they hope will help prove the charges of transportation to engage in prostitution. Federal prosecutors are alleging that Combs orchestrated a criminal enterprise with the assistance of his bodyguards to pressure witnesses like Combs' former assistant testifying as Mia to, quote, stay silent and not report what they experienced or knew.
The jury saw some additional messages from one of Sean Combs' longtime bodyguards. He goes by D-Rock. She said the outreach from D-Rock and from Combs himself made her terrified. Federal prosecutors no doubt want to leave the jury with the impression that Combs was behind the scenes pulling the strings as part of his alleged orchestration of a criminal enterprise.
The jury was also presented with text and audio messages meant to reinforce testimony from other witnesses about hotel rooms, drugs, and travel. One group of messages between Combs' chief of staff, Christina Coram, and Combs' travel arranger discussing a flight for Jane and an escort named Paul. In one 2018 exchange, Ventura allegedly told Coram, quote, "I can't do that violent, scary, kick me out of my own house stuff anymore," to which Coram responded, "I'm sure. Stay focused, though. It's not worth derailing. That much I know."
The government will present this as we are getting information that Christina Coram knows about the violence towards Cassie from Sean Combs, and that she is saying, stay focused, don't get derailed. That could be a part of the coercion or the force in that RICO or sex trafficking charge. But the defense will make their own arguments and say that Christina Coram is not part of a criminal enterprise, but merely a confidant and friend of Cassie Ventura.
Prosecutors say the messages were pulled from electronic devices owned by Coram, who is not testifying at trial. Coram's attorney did not respond to requests for comment from ABC News. In a previous statement, regarding 3 other civil lawsuits she had been named in surrounding Combs, Coram said in part, "For months, horrific accusations have been made about me in various lawsuits regarding my former boss. The idea that I could be accused of playing a role in, or even be a bystander to, the rape of anyone is beyond upsetting, disturbing, and unthinkable. That is not who I am, and my heart goes out to all victims of sexual assault. I am confident that the allegations against me will be proven to be untrue." The prosecution is expected to rest its case as early as Wednesday, with the defense taking over by Friday, when they will make their case for what they say Sean Combs is innocent of all the accusations levied against him these past 5 weeks.
The prosecution has signaled that they have just a few more witnesses that will testify, including Brendan Paul, a former assistant to Sean Combs. We expect him to testify about providing drugs to Sean Combs.
If convicted on all charges, Sean Combs faces a maximum sentence of life in prison.